What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia, and welcome to the Waiver Wire Week 5 video here at Fantasy Pros. I want to remind you, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/FantasyPros MLB, and don't forget, we've got leading off 5 days a week, noon Eastern, live for you, talking baseball. But in the meantime, we're talking waiver wire, so make sure you pick up these guys, and let's start with the big dude, Rowdy Telles. You're going to need two hands to pick up Rowdy Telles. He's a big boy, but he's got a big bat. And right now, he's got 7 home runs on the year. He's having a fantastic week. He's rostered in just 40% of leagues. He's got 15 runs scored, 20 hits, already at 21 RBI on the season. And, of course, hit about 260 right now in that 265-ish range. Now, here's the thing with Rowdy Telles. He is a bit of a streaky player, like most sluggers can be. However, he's in a good spot in this lineup in Milwaukee. He's in a good division where you're going to have some bottom feeder pitching with teams like the Cincinnati Reds and teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it's a good ballpark factor at home for him, too. We've seen a lot of guys go over. Willy Adames, the latest one, to really show his power ceiling. Milwaukee's always been a home run friendly environment. And for Rowdy Telles, I think this is a guy who could go for 30 home runs this year potentially, especially with this hot start under his belt. The next guy on our list is Ha-Seong Kim, the infielder for the San Diego Padres. Now, everybody was very excited when this guy came over a few years ago from the KBL, but he struggled mightily to make contact. The big difference this year, 9 walks, 13 strikeouts. He is seeing the ball better. Pitch recognition skills are up. He's got 3 home runs, 1 stolen base, hitting .259, 14 runs scored already for Ha-Seong Kim. So here's the thing. He qualifies at second, qualifies at third, qualifies at short. He can help you out in the short term. Look, the worst case scenario is he is a short-term fix, and if Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back, he might go back into a bench kind of role. But the best case scenario is he continues to hit, and they move him all around the diamond, and they continue to find at-bats for him. So Ha-Seong Kim is worth adding. Rostered in just 40% of leagues right now. He's a guy that I would go after. Next on our list today is Sheldon Noise of the Oakland A's. Now, Noise has gotten off to a pretty good start so far to the year, hitting .312, got 2 home runs, 3 stolen bases on the year. He scored 9 runs, and he's got a .417 BABIP. So everybody wants to point to that and say, well, it's not sustainable. Plus, he's struck out 25 times already in 23 games. But here's the thing about Sheldon Noise. Checked him out over on his minor league track record. He was a guy that always struck out, always had good, strong contact numbers, but also hit for a high average, over .290 in his 5-year minor league career. So this is a guy that's just part of his game. He's going to strike out, he's going to hit the ball hard, and he's going to make that contact, and that consistent contact is something you'll take, I think. Even if the batting average should regress, which it probably will, you'll still take it, especially if he continues to steal bases, which is also something he sprinkled in there in his minor league career. If he can give you maybe 10 to 15 on the season, that would be huge. A little bit of pop as well. So Sheldon Noise, another guy to add who qualifies at second and third base in most leagues. All right, let's move on to the pitching world, and let's talk a little Chris Paddock here. Chris Paddock desperately needed a change of scenery from the Padres. He got it this year with the Twins so far. Over 4 games, 20 innings, 20 hits, 16 strikeouts, just 2 walks. That has been the special sauce here. Being more efficient, limiting those walks, and you can be an effective 2-pitch pitcher in the major leagues as long as you're throwing that fastball with confidence. That confidence seems to have returned with Chris Paddock. So Chris Paddock, to me, is a guy that you could throw out there in matchup plays, you can throw out there in 2-start weeks. And Chris Paddock, as long as that strikeout rate doesn't dip below where he's at right now, I think it'd be a guy you feel really good about, especially in deeper formats. Chris Paddock, I think, just needed a change, maybe a different voice in his ear, and so far the results have been very good for the Twins. And right now for fantasy managers, he's rostered in just 50% of leagues, so he's probably available. Let's get to the waiver wire for saves. Ryan Helsley's been dominant this year, 16 strikeouts in just 8 in the third innings. No walks, no earned runs for Ryan Helsley. With Gallegos imploding not that long ago, Helsley might be a guy who could see some save opportunities going forward. He had a 2-inning save the other day. He is rostered in just 38% of formats right now. Helsley is a guy that I would add and speculate because we all know those closer roles tend to turn over. Oakland is another place where that closer role could come into play as well with Danny Jimenez, who has also given up 0 earned runs on the year so far, 10 strikeouts in 10 innings, just 2 walks. Now, he did blow a save the other day, but that was on unearned runs. I know Lou Trevino's been back. I know AJ Puck has been good, but to me, Danny Jimenez right now, I think, still should be added, rostered in 40% of leagues. He is worth speculating as well. Better to pay now for these guys on the cheap before they run away with closer roles and you have to pay 3 times as much. All right, that'll do it for me, Joe Pisapia. And again, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB, and check out FantasyPros.com for more great baseball content. That'll do it for me, but the story of the game goes on. For everybody here at Fantasy Pros, we'll see you next time, kids.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Fantasy Pros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.